short time ago, I spoke to the DRC commentator Okito Tongomo, who is the elected leader of the DR Congolese opposition in the diaspora. I asked him what he thinks has triggered this new fighting in the DRC.
It was a very important question. It has raised serious concern around our community. I think you know Rwanda is our neighbors. Bunagana, that's a very good place where we share a border with Uganda. A lot of people probably don't know about this. There has been a serious confusion in a part of the country since there has been some serious involvement of border countries or neighbors supporting some criminal barbaric group calling themselves rebels. One of them is called M23s. Those are the people now have been taking Bunagana since yesterday, 8:45 in the morning. People of Bunagana, they are living now traumatized in their own traumatized place in their own country by a group of rebels and the serious criminal people who has aggressed our country at the moment.
Right, but according to the government in Kinshasa, the M23 rebel group are supported by Rwanda, something which Kigali denies. I mean, who are the M23 group and what do they want?
This is a small group of people claiming to be Congolese, but we have identified a generation of them being of Rwandese origin. We have a history where we see people who've been recently arrested by International Criminal Court. His name is Okito Tongomo. He was claiming to be the leader of M23, but when he was arrested, he is now claiming to be a Rwandese citizen. More recently, the Congolese army played massive operation and they arrested the 2 citizens and the 2 Rwandese army inside M23s. They are more senior member of the Rwandese army. So it's totally unacceptable when Paul Kagame tonight to deny this. Rwanda has been in the center of a serious atrocity in Congo for years. Rwanda has been using different ways, supported by some of the different criminal group of people who are after Congolese resources. M23 is just Rwandese small groups. They've been using this for years just to kill Congolese people. And we are really calling for the international community to use a different strategy so we can implement serious justice. And the Rwanda have to be taken to international criminal court for such a serious abuse to Congolese people and entering Congolese soil illegally.
But as you say, the M23 rebel group are a small group. How is it that such a small group is strong enough to be able to take the town of Bunagana when the army was defending it?
It's not the first time this happened, Charlie. You come back to a very serious question where everybody can see what is happening. This is a small group of people claiming to be Congolese. They don't have money, they don't have resources. So they has been supported by the Rwandese, and some part of them also been supported by Ugandans. This is a criminal movement that's supported by neighbor country who have been in the center of those atrocities. It's not the first time this small group of people has caused a serious problem to our people in Congo. Can I tell you, before 2009, when the agreement was made, that's the time the M23 started with those atrocities and this small barbaric way of killing innocent Congolese people. Let me tell you something that will be very useful. In 2010, the government accepted to work with the M23. But after that, we identified that 90% of those people were not Congolese origin. And we stand against them joining the Congolese army. These are the people who have a plan to come to join the Congolese army to use some infiltration strategy. The plan is for them to take Congolese resources illegally. And the Rwanda has been in the center of this for years.
Right, but of course it's not just Rwanda. You've also got the apparent involvement of Uganda as well. So
that's correct.
3 countries potentially involved in this conflict in DR Congo. What is the risk that this could escalate into a war between these countries?
I think it's the right time to start thinking in a different way. Remember, Uganda and the Congolese, including the Rwandese, we have a natural border, and our people have been living in harmony for years. The conflict starts since Rwanda started having an interest of exploiting Congolese resources illegally. And Uganda being in the center, those 2 countries have been playing the massive role of using Congolese resources illegally, and they try to feed up their own people, which everybody have to know. I think when we're talking about the escalation of this, what's going to happen in the coming years, Charlie, there's a very serious implication in the life of people of both countries. Congolese, we've been very lenient for years. We are accepting to find a peaceful way to live with our neighbors. But everybody's witnessing now what is happening.
Right.
To be honest with you, the Congo will take a serious decision, and one day the whole scenario is going to be chaotic because
right.
the Rwandese have been playing this role for years, and we have to say to the international community, everybody's witnessing, we want to see something done quickly before it's going to come to a very serious responses from Congo.
Okay, I'm very conscious that time is against us. The King of Belgium was recently in the DRC. What do you make of that?
But I really appreciate his visit, but we have some concern. The king have been in Congo now for the first time, as I mentioned. All this atrocity, all the history in which Congolese were living their own country with the King of Belgium, Leopold II, I'm talking, who called himself the Congolese owner. He created a serious abuse, which is on grandson, which the King Albert, who is now in Congo, King Phillip, has mentioned on his own statement. He regrets what happened, but I think that's not enough. Let us speak the correct language here. The Congolese deserve a much better apology, and that apology needed to be to build a relationship. We need a reconciliation.
Right,
we have to build this country.
He didn't give that apology, so you're not very happy about that. Let's move away.
But there was no an apology. I have to make it clear. There was no clear apology. What we mean by apology, the apology have to come back with a serious implication of that, because the people lost a life, our ancestral and the generation being abused by people we recognize to live with them, and we want to see something happening that's going to build our relationship.
Yes, that's understood. Let's move away from the DRC and talk about its neighbor that you talked quite a bit about, Rwanda, and the UK, the country where you live. Britain has started implementing that hugely controversial policy of deporting illegal migrants to Rwanda. Do you think that's a good arrangement from the point of view of what you know about Rwanda?
Now, I have to mention this. I'm very happy that you clearly mentioned it has been a controversial issue. The government has taken a very unique decision when nobody's supporting what they're doing. I have respect to the judges, including the High Court judge who has accepted the issue to take place. But let me tell you about 2 seconds about Rwanda. Rwanda is a very, very small country, and they cannot even have their own people back to Rwanda. Congo, we still have a problem. More than 10 million is a lot. I think 5 million Rwanda citizens still in exile in Congo. They don't want to go back because Paul Kagame is up to them. These are the majority people of the Rwandese. They can't go back to Rwanda. Rwanda still having a tyranny regime. Paul Kagame is a dictator. There's no model of society in Rwanda. People are victims of a serious atrocity. There's no freedom. Rwandese, they cannot speak. Sending those people to Rwanda, where they're not going to have enough space to stay. We're talking about in a week only, we got 10,000 people in the United Kingdom who enter in the same scenario, which immigration claimed that our minister or Home Secretary claimed that those people have to be sent to Rwanda. Sending even 10 people to Rwanda, in 5 years, those people are going to run to Congo. They can't stay in Rwanda. Rwanda does not a safe place for people to stay. Okay. So I have to insist on here. Let us have a serious agreement for the safety of people and to make sure the region is peace. Okay. And Rwanda is taking this it's a wrong decision, I can tell, which is not very supported by most Rwandese people. I'm not speaking on our behalf, but we talk to most of them. They are our neighbors. And we know
Okito, I want to thank you very much indeed. Okito Tongomo, DRC commentator and elected leader of the DR Congolese opposition in the diaspora.